Do you guys wish that you had more time in your days to be able to do things you want to do instead of just being on that never ending hamster wheel of like the have to do's? Today, Ceri Payne is coming on to talk about this exact thing, how we can find more time in our days to do things we want to do. And she's going to be talking specifically about how we can batch certain tasks that we have to make more time. And when I heard her speak on the 3 and 30 podcast with Rachel Nielsen, I was like, we have to have her on our page because I thought her message was so good and really is one that can help all of us as women and for those of us who are moms as well. So don't miss this class.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be with you here today on 8-Minute Classes. My name is Ceri Payne. Yes, it's like the iPhone. I am the mom to 3 teenage girls. I have been married for 22 years and I am currently a certified life and business coach. I really have the fun opportunity to help mompreneurs structure, schedule, organize, and streamline their time and their priorities so that they can really enjoy a balanced life while they grow their business. I like to help them make good money in their business while they be great moms. Today, I'm excited to share with you some time-saving tips so that you can get more done in less time. The best part about these tips I want to share with you today is they are things that you are already doing every day. My first time saving tip is around a bunch of examples with batching. Batching is when you do more of the very same thing in an intentional setting so that you can get more done in less time with less mental energy. A really great and simple idea or batching example is when you make dinner. If you're already taking the time and the energy to think through the process of making one dinner, why not triple your recipe and make 3 casseroles or dinner at the same time? You take the one of the cooked dinners and you use it for that night and you put the other 2 in the freezer for another time. You make the dinner and the mess once, so the kitchen stays clean on 2 other nights, which to me is always a win-win. Another thing I like to do with batching is cook a large bag of protein like chicken at one time. You can crock pot it, Instapot it, grill it, and then you meal plan that chicken throughout the week. This chicken can be turned into like shredded chicken burritos or tacos, can be enchiladas, maybe it's spaghetti chicken, chicken Alfredo, or chicken a la king, or it can just be frozen and used for the next week for some of those same dishes. I also like to encourage people to meal plan the same ingredients back to back, such as like rice or noodles. Then it can be used for maybe Swiss chicken and rice, artichoke and rice, Hawaiian haystack, or fried rice. If you do the same thing with noodles, you just cook like a couple of pounds, whatever's a lot for your family. And then one night you have spaghetti, and then you might have a Chinese or a lo mein dish. You could have Alfredo or garlic Parmesan noodles, or even possibly like a spaghetti pie. This week, for example, I cooked a huge roast, and the first night we just had our traditional like roast with, onions and carrots and potatoes. And then later on this week, it's going to be machaca beef tostadas. And then also it's going to be used for some French dip. So all of these ideas that have been mentioned, they not only save you time cooking, but they also save you time on the prep, the cleanup, and all of the dishes. Now I have a question for you. How many times have you put a load of clothes in the washer and then forgot about them so long that you've had to rewash them? I know that I'm totally guilty of that. Batching can also be used for laundry day, ironing days, or steaming your clothes. It can also be used for like your household chores. So if you really decide on a specific day, that helps with your decision fatigue. And it also keeps you on task of like, yes, today's a laundry, I'm going to keep doing it. And it really avoids some of those time wasters that we do when we forget about the chores that we were doing. Another batching idea is when you are putting your leftovers away after dinner, put them in smaller lunch-sized portions. That way, when you are getting ready to leave the house or your kids are leaving or your husband or whatever, you can just grab a lunch. And if you're feeling a little ambitious, you can use a wet erase marker and you can label on the Tupperware what you are having or what that particular meal is and the date. This keeps your fridge more organized, and it also saves time for you for searching for that one meal that you want to have. Another batching idea is consider buying all of the same brand of like a storage containers and the ones that have like the same lids, same size lids. So then you don't have to spend time looking for the correct lid to match the right container. They all match each other, and it just saves so much time and it keeps your house a lot more organized. My final batching idea is around scheduling appointments and errands and shopping trips all on the same day. This helps you know in advance what days you are free to make an appointment, even several months out. But the real time saver with batching errands and appointments is that every time you get in your car, even if it's for a really quick errand, it's at least 15 to 20 minutes, and that's if it's just down the street. So if you can leave the house once and get 3 or 4 errands in, you've saved an hour that day. So can you imagine how much time you would save if you decided to batch those on possibly like a Tuesday and Thursday? You could save several hours throughout the week by batching your errands and trip days. All right, let's move on to the next time saving tip. I have another question for you. Have you ever said, it feels like all I ever do is put out fires? I know I've said that a lot, and what I have decided is planning is fire insurance. So for my time saving tip, I want to encourage you to plan a time to schedule your time. And it is true, it does take time to create time. But if you want to feel like you have more time, but not only feel, if you want to actually create more time in your week, then I encourage you to set a specific time aside before the week begins, or maybe like first thing on Monday morning, to plan out your week. If you don't plan out your week, you are very likely to start the week already feeling behind, confused, like not knowing where to start because you have so much to do. So even with the very basic flexible planning, and that's what I encourage and that's what I teach, is just very simple, flexible scheduling. Even with the very basic planning, time is saved because you are staying on track. You're able to notice and identify those potential obstacles prior so that you can solve them before they become a problem. Remember when I mentioned fire insurance? I honestly feel like there is no bigger fire or a waste of time and mental energy than noticing at 3:50 on a Tuesday that you have 2 kids that need to be in 2 different places at 4 o'clock, as well as you have an important obligation that you want to attend. If you plan ahead, you can solve for that when you're in the mindset and when you're in the space to do so, because you've set aside that time to plan, and you can figure those things out when you're very calm and when you're in the mindset to want to do that. With planning, you still have to solve that problem, but you get to solve that problem with less overwhelm and anxiety, less frustration than what usually accompanies us at 3:50 when we're trying to struggle and scramble to figure it out. A really great tip to a successful schedule is to create a schedule that motivates and empowers you, not one that discourages you or makes you feel exhausted or overwhelmed just by looking at it. If the thought of creating or sitting down and thinking through your schedule makes you want to throw up, then I might offer to you to consider taking the time to see what's going on in your day, in your schedule, that isn't a true priority. As women, lots of times we have a lot of shoulds. I should be doing this because it's what a good mom does. I should be doing that to take care of my health. I should be doing this to be on target for this goal. But if it's a should, then you could possibly consider taking it off your schedule. So if you had to, like if I was forcing you to remove one thing from your schedule, just one, what would it be? I want you to take a minute and think about that. What could you remove from your schedule? And once you have the answer to that question, I want you to ask yourself, why aren't you removing it? Why is that thing still on a schedule? When we aren't intentionally planning and prioritizing, it's hard to feel balanced, and that's when we feel overwhelmed. And here's why. Planning actually tells you the targets that you're aiming for. So if you don't know what you're aiming for, then you don't know if you've hit it. And that feels defeating. And that's what keeps us from feeling balanced and overwhelmed. It's hard to feel like we've accomplished anything or that we used our time effectively if we don't plan how we are going to use our time. But if you know your targets, then at the end of the day, you know what you accomplished and you know what you didn't accomplish and you know how you used your time, and you're able to decide if you used it intentionally the way that you wanted to. When you use your time in the way that you want to, you feel more balanced at the end of the day. So I've had such a fun time sharing with you some of my quick, easy, fun, fast time-saving tips. I've created a freebie just for you for watching. It's 24 ways to save 24 hours this month, and it includes many of the batching examples I discussed, plus other time-saving tips. So you can get a copy of that. Just head on over to my IG. It's Organized Life with an ED, organizedlife.coach, and check out the link in my bio.
Okay, Ceri, that was so good. All right, who learned something new from that? I know that I learned that I need to make less Target trips probably and batch my grocery shopping and my errand day together. And yeah, thanks for that, Ceri. If you want to know more, we are going to be doing a live with Ceri on Wednesday morning. That's tomorrow morning. And we are going to kind of do a little Q&A. So if you have questions for her, feel free to leave those below and we will just jump right in and figure out how we can dive a little deeper and apply these principles into our weekly schedules and just our day-to-day lives. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. See you later.